Hi, everybody. Just wanted to say hey and make a quick video. I'm going to make some videos about the games I'm playing right now. Jedi Survivor just came out. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom just came out. I'm waiting for Diablo 4 to play as a party with my brother and my dad. But the other kind of main theme of my channel is health, mental health, physical health, spiritual health. And I just wanted to make a quick video. A idea I keep coming back to is the idea of consistency. And I think consistency is extraordinarily important. You hear about it when people talk about investing, the power of compound interest. Well, I think there's compound interest in habits, whether it's working out or eating right or not drinking or not doing drugs. Um, when we establish patterns of behavior, they become habits, and habits become destiny. Um, so just here, giving you another data point to affirm that, you know, keep fighting the good fight and doing good things because um, your habits will pay dividends if they're good or if they're bad. So be careful what you do regularly. It's okay. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Love you guys.
All right, let's see you, man. You can get it. You got it.
Hello. What's up, everybody? I want to just continue on with the thought here, and my wife just woke up from a nap, so letting the baby be with her. Okay, so here goes. There's a tendency for me to think, I've noticed, that I don't have the authority to speak on the topic that I find myself the most driven to speak on, that being health in the abstract, whether mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, or all of the above in concert, for the odd reasoning that my kind of intellectual self comes up with, that I'm not this person or that person. I don't own a business. I don't own a gym. I'm not Mr. Olympia. Just a guy, right? That you most likely don't know. And so what authority do I have to speak on something as lofty as health? Well, I'll tell you. I'm a paramedic. I'm a member of the National Ski Patrol. I don't currently ski patrol, but I've ski patrolled for years. I teach swim lessons. I teach ski lessons. I'm a member of the National Guard. I'm, fairly fit. I can do maybe 50 push-ups, maybe 10 pull-ups, maybe 12, 15 pull-ups, working on getting a muscle up. I can run a 2 mile in like 14 minutes and 30 seconds, 14 minutes and 50 seconds. I'm a pretty good skier. I surf. I love to surf. I'm not a great surfer, but I can surf. I can swim up to 2.4 miles or 2.1 miles. I forget, but whatever the longest open water distance is that we swim in competition, I've done that several times. Now, why am I going on this litany of like, listen to me, I'm so great? Because I suppose part of me feels like that's a prerequisite for me to be able to speak on health. So now that you know that about myself, I've been through catastrophic injuries. I'm happy to say that I've recovered almost entirely from an L1 compression fracture years ago. That was a surfing injury, debilitating. Interestingly enough, my dad had a fusion surgery when he was 28 in same kind of area of his back lumbar spine. So you might say I was potentially predisposed to breaking in that particular area, but that was an interesting thing. I had surfed for years at 3 Mile, 4 Mile, Scotts Creek, Davenport, that area. If you know, you know. And then found myself at Moss Landing, never surfed it ever, and it was like head and a half, and tried to duck out the back on a pretty solid one and just got slammed. First hit was my knee to my head, and I thought, okay, underwater, I'm like, feeling my CMS, feeling if I have circulation. motion and sensation as they teach us in medicine, into my distal extremities. And I did. So it was like, as I remember it, I had this flush of confidence immediately because I was like, oh, it didn't hurt too bad. Like I'm okay. You know, I'm not concussed or what have you. And then immediately afterwards, oh, I felt my back go. Long story short, I'm better from that for the most part. I do sauna a lot, stretch a lot. Okay, so I've found that I've learned a great deal from my didactic education, from my experience as an athlete, from my experience of rehabbing through injury as an athlete. And so that brings me to the table, right? That being said, I think that there's a couple things that I should advance as postulates to take seriously when considering how to establish a life of ongoing physical, mental, and emotional health. And I think to get to kind of a trinity, if you will, of all three in concert, one need only focus on one and build a mental map of the minutia that creates an understanding of how to achieve one of those, and it leads into the others. So for example, physical health, let's start there. You don't get to a healthy weight, a healthy body composition of muscle versus fat, a healthy metabolic rate, what should we say, a healthy, oops, that's my daughter. Hold on, I gotta go check on. Okay, well, little Laura slipped and fell, but she's all good. No injuries sustained. But to continue the thought, one doesn't get to a healthy physical state in all the ways that I listed and others that you could speak to without recognizing what the person is doing, what the self is doing that's actively working against that physical state, whether it be intake of carcinogenic foods, synthetic foods, seed oils, too many carbohydrates, too much sugar, not the right profile of electrolytes or their macros. You can go to somebody like Primal Edge Health, who's a friend of mine, for more specific information on diet. But suffice it to say, one doesn't get to a physical state of health without understanding what they're eating that's inappropriate, B, understanding what we're doing that's actively working against a state of physical health in terms of our physical habits. So, person might have something like overuse injuries, or a person may be too sedentary and not exercise enough. So recognizing the negative patterns of behavior, whether it's diet or exercise or lack thereof. And then after having addressed the issues that are counterproductive, obviously cutting those out or minimizing them to the degree possible, then comes the application of positive behaviors, or at least the recognition of what behaviors are already extant and positive in and of themselves. So, that walk that I like to take twice a week, that is making me feel good, and it's building the musculature of my legs, and it's, ramping up my metabolic rate and cutting off the fat, so recognizing what we're doing that is working against us, being honest with ourselves about those things and cutting those things out or down, recognizing what we're doing that's working for us, maximizing those things, honoring those things. You might come up with more steps than that, but I say that's a real good place to start. And again, when I say you can focus on one of the realms, physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, once we recognize how to kind of attack one of those areas, we can use that same formula for the others, right? So, what am I saying internally that's counterproductive? What's my internal dialogue? What if that is, negative, self-destructive? What of that can I cut down? What are the conversations I have with myself that are positive? What of those are bearing, meaningful fruit in terms of, my mental state, right? How can I bolster those? You do the same thing on the spiritual, emotional front, whether it's interpersonal or one's relationship with God or what have you. So I think that's a fair place to start. What I recognize is the things that I've cut out, I've left far behind. So I don't smoke, I don't drink. Once those decisions have been ingrained in habit, I don't look back at them in any sense. I don't look, I forget the turn of phrase, but I don't miss them. I have so fully divorced myself from the negative physiologic effects of, too much alcohol or smoking and, aggravating the cilia or destroying the cilia in my larynx, that to be presented with the opportunity to do those things is so easy to avoid, that it really is helpful to me. It's a health bearing decision process for me and habit now. And I can understand where those of us that have not ingrained in ourselves the habit of not drinking, the habit of not smoking, the habit of not using drugs, how there's less inertia. There's no inertia against those behaviors exhibiting. So, in the same way where if you are a runner, and I'm not a runner, to be fair, I used to be when I was a kid, but I'm not. If you're a runner and you run a little bit every day, pretty soon you're just running more and more and more. And that's just a function of the inertia of the habit. So, and that can be said for anything, right? You do a little bit of drugs one day and then the next day and the next day, and pretty soon, you're having to do a lot to get the same high. Compound interest is real. Tolerance is real. Building upon a set of consistent behaviors, the kind of snowballing effect that those things have on one's life is very real. So being conscious of where that's happening to the negative and to the positive is very important, doing a kind of audit. So yeah, I think that that's a really healthy place to start kind of speaking to why I think I'm fairly invited to the table of the conversation to speak on health and how one may approach it. And furthermore, the way that I see health in the abstract, physical, mental, and emotional / spiritual. And then again, how you don't necessarily have to come up with new ways of approaching each one. You don't really have to reinvent the wheel in terms of getting healthy, physically fit, or, overcoming what mental illness you may struggle with, and becoming mentally healthy and having a clear state of mind and a positive mental outlook. And then again, one doesn't need to as well reinvent the wheel when coming up with a comprehensive personal spirituality or a personal religious code. There's already religious communities that you may be drawn to. There's already great books on spiritual achievement and spiritual practice. So it's, again, defining health in a meaningful way in terms of a comprehensive understanding of one's health. I do it in that kind of threefold way: mental, physical, spiritual / emotional. Understanding that you don't need to try to, eat the whole cake in one bite. It's little bits that compound over time, patterns, right? Almost in a musical way. You try to get rid of the discordant beats and tones and so forth, and try to just make your music flow in the way that you choose. And then applying that kind of understanding of getting rid of the negative with respect to time, and emphasizing and coveting and fostering the positive, and watching that build on itself over time. So that's all I've got for you today. thank you very much for watching. I'm going to keep trying to articulate my thoughts in useful ways. But I'm just feeling good. I went and did a bike ride. You know, been hitting the sauna regularly, got a beautiful day of skiing in. We're pretty close to the end of the season here, but got to get the most out of my spring season pass. So that was just really wonderful. Looking forward to surfing the river. It's starting to get hot in Bend, although we're having kind of thunderstorm weather here as the seasons are getting ready to change. So yeah, I just feel a call to continue the dialogue to the degree to which I'm, you know, getting feedback, but or at least the messaging from my end on health. I know that I was looking for the answers when I was in my 20s, and I was lucky enough to find what worked for me. And so now I have this feeling like I owe it to kind of the old me, if you will, the younger me, if you like, you know, and those that are out there trying to come to an understanding of health, you know, and manifest health in their life. And it's no small feat, right? Like if you're kicking butt in life and you're making, you know, 6 figures and your relationships are all on point and you treat yourself well and you're physically fit, you know, maybe my videos aren't necessarily for you. I know that at times in my life, my internal dialogue was extraordinarily toxic. My relationships were all, for the most part, very negative. My physical health waned for years when I was a heavy smoker of tobacco and weed. And I, you know, socially drank for years when I was partying. And so, you know, I just want to be a conduit for what lessons I've learned from having gone through the things that I just described, and injuries and loss and so forth, such that those of you that are having trouble now with your mental, physical, or emotional / spiritual health, you might find these videos to be helpful. And I'm doing this for that reason. So please do leave a comment. Please do reach out and make the connection. We live in Bend. I'm happy to go surf or ski or, you know, sauna or get after it. With those of you that may be in my area, happy to go surf the coast, Oregon coast now, not living in Santa Cruz anymore. So yeah, I hate to be like, you know, like and subscribe, but it helps the algorithm. It makes these videos move more, you know, effectively with less friction through the interwebs and find more ears and more eyes. So please do those things. And I hope that I can be helpful. So thank you for watching. Love you guys. Bye-bye.